So in the world of stopping binge eating, there is so much talk about giving up dieting. And yes, that is a part of the puzzle, but what about the whole weight gain thing that comes with it for so many people? In this video, I'm going to show you how to stop binge eating without gaining weight. All right, so when I first landed in this whole revelation about what was at the core of my struggle with binge eating, which was rejecting myself, rejecting my body, which led me to dieting, which triggered my brain and body and all of these things to think about food more, eat more food, and so forth, right? When I realized that was at the root of everything, and yes, there's emotions, and yes, there's deeper work for sure, but that's what was making me really, really crazy compulsive. Then I had to be faced with the fact of, what on earth am I going to do if I'm not dieting or sticking to some healthy meal plan? I feared weight gain. I feared I would lose control on food. I feared if I would try that whole listen to my body thing, I would want to eat everything in sight because my body was screaming at me to eat pizza. It was really scary and really confusing. And so I wanted to give you some tips here on how to do this in a way that doesn't equal a free for all with your food. So, all right, so when experts are coming in the space talking about intuitive eating or talking about stopping dieting, I think that's really supportive and amazing tools. But if we haven't shifted your programming, shifted your wiring, and gotten your survival mechanisms calmed to where they're not pointing you towards food and not making you want to eat all the time, then that can get a little sticky. And I see it with our clients. If our clients kind of hear this concept and then maybe fall off the face of the earth in our program and don't do the work and don't get support and don't follow the protocol, they'll hear the term releasing restriction and they'll think it means a free-for-all. And then we tell them, no. Releasing restriction isn't about making yourself eat foods that you haven't been allowed to have. All releasing restriction is about is giving yourself the freedom to make choices in connection with your true self and your body, right? Instead of living off a meal plan, instead of living off a list of do's and don'ts and so forth. And so, one big piece of this puzzle is take off the cap of I'm releasing restriction, I'm not dieting, right? And put on the cap of how do I make choices that really nourish and support my well-being? And there's different parts of well-being, right? There's your physical well-being. So this is going to look like eating enough. This is going to look like eating balanced meals. This is going to look like not eating meals, these mini meals that leave you unsatisfied, or not fasting all day and eating one meal a day and being ravenous, right? Timing your meals in a way that's really supportive, that leaves you feeling very satisfied and meets your needs physically. Now, that's not the whole piece of the puzzle though. We have this whole side of things that's your mental and emotional well-being. So I had Mexican food with friends the other night, right? And I love Mexican. I'm always talking about Mexican food. It's my favorite. And I walked into this situation and I really took a little inventory. For me, it's second nature and quick, but if I was to slow the process down for you on how it looks, I checked in with hey, how am I feeling and how do I want to feel? And what experience is most important to me? So I wanted to leave the dinner feeling energized. I had a big day the next day. I didn't want to be tired and exhausted, but it was also very important to me to have the experience of being with my friends, not worrying about my food. And so I made choices that supported all of those pieces, supported my energy, but also supported my fun and well-being. So notice there's the physical side, hey, what do I need to feel supported and taken care of physically and meet my body's needs? And then there's the, hey, how do I feel? How do I want to feel? And what's going to support this experience I desire mentally and emotionally? And so back to the Mexican food, I ordered fajitas. I didn't stuff 7 fajita shells and eat all the chips and guac because I was cheating on my diet and going to start back over tomorrow, right? I had, I think, a fajita or 2. I remember I had some chips and guac and salsa with everyone, and there were some appetizers, and I had a few bites of those. So instead of finishing the fajitas and continually making new ones, there was this kind of middle ground at the end where I was feeling satisfied but wanted a little more. And so I just picked at the steak and chicken combo and the peppers, and I completed my meal when I felt satisfied and lightly full. And I left the the dinner feeling energized. I left the dinner feeling connected, and I had fun with my friends. And the trick is I made present moment choices based on what would support my well-being mentally, emotionally, and physically. And if you're making those choices in a consistent way, if you're making connected choices to yourself, you will not go on a free-for-all with your food and not gain weight in this whole process of transitioning from dieting and releasing restriction. Now, releasing restriction, getting your brain and body out of survival mode, is just the foundational phase to the process. There's some deeper work to do, right? There's deepening the connection to your body. There's freeing yourself from emotional eating. There's shifting your belief system. All way too many things to include in one video. So I wanted to leave you with kind of like phase one, the foundation, because here's the thing. I could give you a million other tools, but if that foundation isn't in place, none of those other tools are going to work, no matter how fantastic they are. So consider this your foundational video to breaking free from your struggle with binge eating and transitioning out of dieting. And if you need more help and support, we have a ton of resources for you below this video. So below this video, in the description or in the link someplace around it, there is a training. And this training is going to share more steps of the puzzle to breaking free from your struggle with binge and emotional eating for good. So before you go anywhere, go get that training now. And be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you like about this video, what questions you have. I respond and comment back in the chat, and we take those comments and make sure you're supported and tailor video content around from what we hear that you desire. So be sure to leave a comment. Let me know how you like this. Let me know what else you want to see on the channel, and I will see you in the next video. The training that I have in the description just below this video, or the link, just click someplace around this, that training is going to be what supports you with getting there.